I'm Aaron Shaw. I play bagpipes with the band Wicked Tinkers, and we'll be playing at the Broad Stage in Santa Monica in March of 2020. We're looking forward to seeing you there. This is the bagpipe itself. It's called a bagpipe because there's a bag in here. This is made out of leather with a liner. And then these are pipes, of course. This pipe is called the blowpipe because it's just a tube that you blow up the bag with. These three pipes are called the drones, and they stick over my shoulder, and they each play one note, and that note never changes except when I tune it. This part is separate, so I can make it shorter to make it higher in pitch, or longer to make it lower in pitch. And these are the kind of reeds that we used to use. It's made out of the same kind of material that an oboe reed or a saxophone reed is made out of. It's a plant called cane, and it's just a little section of the tube. It's kind of like bamboo. And you cut it here and split it, and so that creates this little tongue right there. And when I blow through just the reed, it sounds like this. But nowadays, instead of real cane reeds, we have synthetic reeds. So there's the little tongue on the reed, and it fits in the end of the drone just the same way that the cane reeds used to. But they're a little more stable and predictable. So when I blow through the reed, through the drone, it sounds like this. So those just stick on my shoulder and they hum away all the time, and the note never changes. Here's the chanter. I'll just take it out here. And it has holes on the front and one on the back, and the reed goes in the end here, and when the air goes through the reed and you move your fingers on the holes, it plays different notes, like an oboe or flute or any other wind instrument like that. And that's the chanter. That's what you play the melody on. So the melody is coming from the chanter, and the harmony is coming from the drones, and that's the bagpipe. So on the bagpipe, unlike a flute or a recorder or a tuba, any other kind of wind instrument, I can keep playing even when I'm breathing in, and that's what the bag is here for. With the bag under my arm, when I need to breathe in, I can just squeeze the bag with my arm, and that will keep air pushing out through all the reeds and keep making sound while I have time to breathe in, and then I can just start blowing again. So that's why the bagpipe never stops once you start it. And next we have a very rare and old instrument called the Bronze Age Irish horn. This is the Bronze Age Irish horn, and this is a replica of an original horn from over 3,000 years ago. It's made out of bronze, a kind of metal. It does have a microphone on it. They did not have microphones 3,000 years ago. That's just so that you can hear it when we play it live, because it's a relatively quiet instrument. The original horns like this were found mostly in Scotland, a few in Ireland and Wales, and for many years, hundreds of years really, no one knew what they were because the culture that created them had died out and had no written language. And so people found these instruments or pieces of them, and they had no idea whether they were some type of ancient plumbing or what. They really didn't know. Some people thought that they might be an instrument, because it does look like a horn, but it's got this big mouthpiece here that doesn't have a mouthpiece like on a trumpet or something. And so you couldn't really play it very well like a trumpet. And it wasn't until about 40 years ago that an ethnomusicologist was doing a study of these, and he had a hunch and brought in someone who played the Australian didgeridoo to try them, and they worked great. And the fellow who was the didgeridoo player said, yes, these are great didgeridoos. So they're essentially an ancient Irish didgeridoo. Once the once that was discovered, once they realized how the instrument worked, then one guy in Ireland started to make a few reproductions, and I got in touch with him, and he made this one for us. And as far as I know, it's the only one in North or South America. He really hasn't made many of these at all. So that's the Bronze Age Irish horn. So to get the basic sound, you just buzz your lips like, and that sounds like this. And then to vary that sound, you change the shape of your mouth or make your lips a little tighter or looser, or move your tongue around inside your mouth. And then I can make it louder by blowing harder, or a little quieter by blowing softer. And all that I'm doing with just my lips and the shape of my mouth. But I can also make sounds with my voice. So I can hum or make yelling sounds or barking sounds, and any kind of sound I can make with my voice while I'm also making the other sounds with my lip. And that sounds like this. So that's how to play the thing, but I also want it to keep playing for a long time. And it will only play as long as I'm blowing. So I'm going to run out of air long before I want the horn to stop making sound. So I've got to figure out a way to get more air in while I'm still blowing out. And on a bagpipe I can do that with the bag, but I don't have a bag, or do I? Because what I can do is use my face as the bag. So I can puff up my cheeks, and that holds just enough air that when I squeeze that air out with my cheek muscles, I can breathe in through my nose really quick. So I'm going to show how that works. And it's called circular blowing, by the way, and some people do that when they play saxophone or trumpet, and it's how you play the Australian didgeridoo as well. So I'll play a little bit here, and you'll see my cheeks puff up, and you might also hear me breathing in really quickly while I'm doing it, but you'll also hear that the sound doesn't stop coming out of the horn. And that's circular blowing. So this is an instrument that has been played in most cultures around the world. Sometimes it's made of bamboo or wood or brass. This one's made of steel or iron. And it's a bent piece of metal with a springy piece that goes through the middle that you can pluck. Now, here in America, we sometimes call it a jaw harp or a Snoopy harp. In Scotland and Ireland, back in the old days, it was actually called a trump. And the way that you play it is you put your teeth on the top and the bottom of this bent part, like so, and then you pluck the springy piece and you change the shape of your mouth, kind of like I did when I was playing the horn, and breathe in and out, and it sounds like this. And that's the trump or jaw harp. So those are some of the instruments that we'll be playing on the Broad stage in Santa Monica in March. And I hope you enjoyed it, hope you learned a little bit, and I hope we'll see you there.